this episode, we're going to build this Halloween car to get ready for the upcoming holiday. So let's get inside. Howdy train fans, welcome back to the Chattanooga Southern Railroad. So we're going to be doing a full build on this BevBel Athearn blue boxcar 40-footer that has a Halloween paint scheme. So as I was doing my inventory work, I dug that out and was like, ooh, I didn't know I had this. And with the upcoming holiday of Halloween, I have decided that I'm going to build a Halloween train. Halloween is my favorite holiday of the year. So I always get excited around this time of year with the cooling weather, or football, and falling leaves, and all the spooky stuff that starts to come out, including the Halloween candy. Who can resist that? So what I want to do is a full build. So we're going to go through, we're going to build the car, we're going to put kadee couplers on it, we're going to tune the trucks, put metal wheel sets on it, we're going to weight it, and then we're going to test it up on the layout. So let's get going. All right, so we're over here at the rail shop here. We're going to be putting together this Athearn blue box car. As you saw, this is a Happy Halloween car. Had this in my stash. Never put it together. So we're going to do that with Halloween coming up. Thought it was a good time to do this. So let's go ahead and open this up here. And you can see that this is definitely been in here a while. Got the old instructions, half pager. Apparently they were saving money there on that. We're not going to need that. We've done this too many times. So we're going to pull out all the parts and pieces here. There's the boxcar itself. It's got bat, skeleton, gravestone. It says Happy Halloween. It's got its own road number. This is from 1991. Already has the roof walk installed on it. Really kind of looking forward to putting this together because Halloween is my favorite holiday of the year. And so I get really excited when the cooler weather comes around and the candy comes out and those kind of things. So we'll go ahead and set that down there, pull out the rest of the parts. We've got our floor for the car. The underframe looks like this a little broken. I think we could probably fix that. Got our main weight, or the standard weight, I should say, steel plate there. We've got our two sliding doors. Look like they're in pretty good condition. We'll put those on. And then, of course, we've got our parts packet, which is still sealed. So I'm going to go ahead and rip that open because it's not going to do us any good anymore after this. So what we're going to do is we're going to dump all the parts out. That way we don't lose any. That's one of my quick tips for all of you. And also you want to make sure that you're feeling the bag as you empty it, just to double check and make sure there's nothing in there. I think we're good to go there. These trucks are assembled, but we're going to take these wheel sets out because we're not going to be using them. As you've seen in previous videos, I do use metal wheel sets, and I do tune these truck bolsters up. So we're going to take those, we're going to set those aside in the other box. We've got our brake wheel here. We've got our two screws. We've got our coupler clips. So that being said, looks like we've got all the parts and pieces that we need, and we'll get going. All right, so I dug out a couple things to help us with this build. So I've got the screwdriver that I'm going to use to install the trucks. I've got a X-Acto knife with a number 11 blade. Probably may have to do some trimming. Also got some sprue cutters here. The reason I picked these out is not because of the body of the car itself, but right here on this brake wheel, I don't know if you can see it, but there's a little bitty sprue pin right there. So I'm going to kind of quickly nip that off and flush cut it if I can. Make that nice and neat. And there it is. So I can go ahead and put that back in the good old drawer. And we'll go ahead and install that, get that done. So right here on the end, there's a hole there, specifically designed for it. We're going to put it in there. This is a press fit. You don't normally need to put glue. You want to, when you're installing one of these, you want to use your finger and just kind of twist a little bit back and forth as you push it in until it seats. And there you go. It's all the way seated down, and that looks good. All right, we're going to set, I also got out my kadee number 148s here. These are the whisker versions of the number 5. So I've got those here, and I've also got my wheel sets, and I got a little bit of glue to fix that undercarriage here. So first things first, we want to build this car. So we're going to set this off to the side. Set these off to the side here. We'll set this off to the side. I do want to go ahead and get out a couple of wheel sets. I buy these in bulk. These are the Walthers Proto 33-inch wheel sets. So we're going to need 4 of these. So we'll go ahead and throw those down. I think I got 3. There's the 4th one. We'll put these back in the box. Set that back over there. And then out of here, since we only need 2 of these, we'll pull one out and then a second one out. And then we will set those back into the container over here. All right, I've also gotten out my tuner for the truck bolsters, but we'll do that in a minute. So, all right, so the first thing we want to do is we need to build this underframe. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip this thing over, set it down here on my hard surface, not on the foam. This weight goes in like this. And I like to see, you know, is this thing bent or going to sit level? And apparently, I don't know whether there's something here that's holding it up or what, or whether it's just, oh, there it goes. Now it's sitting flat. What I like to do with these weights, because I don't like to hear them jiggling around, I use a little Zap-A-Gap here. It's a little bit thicker. And what I do is I put a drop out here on the end, one there, one in the middle, one here, and one there. And oops, I forgot the cap. Not a good idea. It's a good way to dry your glue out. All right, and then looking at this, it looks like it's pretty straight and flat. I'm gonna put it down like this. Get it centered in there. Usually it helps if you move this around a little bit. And we're just going to hold it down a little bit while it cures. Then the other thing I'm going to do here is, you'll see how this is a little bit broken. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and fold it over like that. And then I'm going to come with a different type of glue, which is this Gorilla Super Glue. Take this off. And I'm going to turn this around like this, and I'm just going to put a nice little drop right there. You don't need a lot here. And then I'm going to bring this back up into position. Just like that. And I'm going to hold it for a second. If you don't know this, super glue is activated by humidity or moisture in the air. That's why you'll see sometimes people will spray an activator. It's basically moisture in a can. And so one of the other things, if you don't have that, you can breathe on it with your nice hot breath like that. And I think we got pretty close there. So it'll go ahead and cure more once we get it in place here. So I'm going to go ahead and set this down on there. Going to line that glued on piece in place. Need to put my cap back on my glue here. And so now, there you go. You heard it pop down into place there. Okay, so now that we've got this assembled, The next thing we need to do is we need to put on our couplers. So actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull it back down to here. I'm going to pull out the retainer clips. That's what these are, here and here. We'll set those down. And we're going to put one coupler in. Now when you install one of these, you want to put that long tab to the front, okay, towards the coupler knuckle. So I don't know how well this is going to show up on camera, but I'm going to do my best to give you the full visual here. And you heard it pop into place there. It's just that easy. Same thing with this one. We're going to, I think we got a piece moving in. Put it in, make sure your whiskers are down in the coupler box. Long tab towards the knuckle. Place it down over top. You want to get it, you'll know you're in the right place because you want it over top of that little centering pin. And it'll pop right in place. So now we've got both of those in. Now this frame is not going to stay together until we put the truck bolsters on. So let's get to work on that next. All right, time to work on tuning up these truck bolsters. So if you have any of these Athearn blue box cars or the old yellow box cars or the roundhouse cars, this is something you want to do to help make your cars run the best that they possibly could. This will actually help with derailments if you're doing this properly the way I'm showing this, and it should help. So this tool here came from Micromark. It has a cutting edge on one side, and it's designed to cut the angle inside of these holes here to match the pointed pins on the metal wheel sets. And even if you're not replacing the metal wheel sets, doing this step even with the plastic wheels will be a great improvement. So the way we do this is we put this cutter blade in here, and what I like to do is turn it in its vertical state, and then I just kind of pinch and roll back and forth, just like that. I then take it out, flip it around so it cuts the other side. Do the same thing there, back and forth. These are in pretty good shape because there's very little coming out here. Flip the bolster around, the truck frame, run it back and forth, flip it over one more time, put it back in, run it back and forth like that, and you can see there's some shavings in there and right here. So this one is now done. So we're going to set that off to the side. We're going to repeat that for the other truck. And it doesn't matter whether you got two-wheel set or three-wheel trucks. It works for both. We're going to flip it around like so. Run it back and forth. Turn the bolster or truck frame around. Put it back in, run it back and forth. Now this one's getting a little more shavings. I don't know if you can pick that up on camera. Definitely some on my hands, I'll show you in a second. And then, now we finished that one. I don't know if you can see that. You can kind of see some of the pieces on my hand, but you can see some there on the actual cutter itself. Let me see if I can. So you can see all those pieces that came off of it. There's one there, got a good chunk there. So this tool, I think it runs about 14 bucks, somewhere around there at Micromark. Sometimes you can get them on sale. Highly recommend you get one of those. So we'll set that down there because we don't need it anymore. We'll clean up our mess here. And now let's go ahead and pop in, now that we've got these tuned, I am seeing a little bit of flashing on this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get out my flush cutters and I'm going to clean that up a little bit like that. Let me check the other one here just to be sure I don't have any extra flashing. Had a little piece there. All right, and let's start popping in some of these wheels. So we got one there, we've got one here, and we're gonna put it on there and watch that thing roll nice and smooth. All right, we're gonna do the same thing here. Pop this one in, pop this one in, and just like the other one, that one should roll nice and smooth. All right, we're good there. Now, let's get on to assembling this. All right, now it's time to mount these trucks onto our frame to help lock in this underframe. This glue has now set, so it's nice and solid for that broken piece. Our couplers are in. So what we're going to do is we're going to take these, we're going to turn them upside down and put them down on the bolsters, the bolster pins like that. We have 2 screws here. I'm going to drop one in that one. I'm going to drop one in this one. Now, I will tell you, the first time you install one of these screws, you are cutting the threads into that plastic bolster. So you want to be very intentional about this. So what I like to do is put the screw in and push down a little bit, helping it to cut. You're not trying to punch it through, but you're just trying to help it cut those threads. And what I do is I tend to take these down all the way until they seat. And you'll know it when it seats, because you won't be able to move that truck at all. And that's what you want. So right there. Now I can't, with force I can move it, but you want to take it down till it's tight. And then what I do is I do the same thing with the other truck. Like this, putting a little bit of pressure on that screw to help it cut those threads for the first time. And again, I'm taking this all the way down until it seats, and you'll feel it when it gets there. See, it's still a little loose. You want to keep going until it does. All right, now those are, I can't spin those without some force, okay? Now, what I like to do at this point is I like to back these off ever so slightly. So I'll do like 1/8 of a turn, and I'll test it. And that's still got a little friction to it. I'll do another 1/8 of a turn. That's a little better, but it's still got some friction. Come back, a little better. That's feeling pretty good, right? What you want to do is you want to have these in such a way that they don't rock too much side to side, but you want them to be able to follow the track, especially through turnouts and things like that. If they're too tight, they will pick at points, and they will also pick at the frogs and can possibly derail. So again, we're going to do the same thing here. Back it off 1/8. We'll back it off another 1/8. That feels about right for both of those. This one might be a little bit more. Back it off 1/16. Yeah, now that's feeling really good there. All right, so now what I'm going to do is, now that I've got those together, I'm going to flip this bottom section back over, and I'm going to put it on my test track here, where I've got kadee gauges, height gauges, and I'm going to run it over, and we are matching up. Not quite right, where it looks to be just a hair low there. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to come up into my box of goodies here, if I can find what I'm looking for. And I have some of the kadee washers here. And these are 2 different sizes. I don't know why that one's broken like that, but we'll throw that in the trash. The red ones are 1 thickness, and the silver ones, or the gray ones, are a thinner thickness. Reds are thicker, silver is thinner. So I think I'm going to need a couple of the reds based off of my experience. So I'm going to take 2 of those out. We'll set that aside. Now what you have to do here is take these trucks back off. If I can get it. And I like to pull up a little bit on the truck as I'm lifting that. And I'm just going to set it there with the screws. I'll do this one too. I like to do everything in systematic stages. That's the engineer in me. Some people would just do the one truck and then move over and do the other truck. That's not my style. But you do you, okay? And we're going to pull that one up. Now we need to put these washers on. Now one of the things you may find is because you did the tightening down, this pin may have flanged out on you, okay? And what you can do is you can set the washer on kind of at an angle like that, and then use your finger to kind of push it over and on. And sometimes I find that if I kind of rock it around a little bit, and of course it'll make a total liar out of me like that. How do you like that one? Let's see if we can try it this way. Of course the first one went on really easy because I wasn't explaining my trick. This one's not going to go on as easy. And I can use a straight blade screwdriver to help. There it goes. Bring it down over that edge. Okay. All right, so now we're going to take our trucks, put them back on like so. And what I'm going to do here, just like I did before, because those washers aren't fully seated, I'm going to take this. You'll notice I'm going to take these down until they're fully seated again. Okay, tight. You'll notice when you do this that these screwing these screws in is a whole lot easier now because you've already cut the threads. I'm going to do the same thing here with this one. Okay, and then now I've got these. They're pretty much tight and seated. I'm going to back these out back to about where I thought they were before. They're still a little tight. Back another quarter. There's a half turn. That's about what I want right there. Maybe a little bit more. Another 1/8 turn. I think that's about perfect. Got enough play I can wiggle it without wiggling the frame. I'm going to do the same thing here. Let's see, this one's still a little taut. There we go. Still not quite to my liking. And that seems to be about right for my taste. All right, now let's flip this back over, put it back on the track. And we're going to test the height, and we are beautimous there, and there as well. So this coupler looks like it might be a little lower than this one. Not quite sure why. Let's flip it around. Let's see if it's the gauge that's doing it. Oh, still a little, that pin's still a little low. So what we're going to do is we're going to take out, I have the KD style coupling pin tool. So I'm going to go ahead and put that on there. And what you want to do, since I want to bend it up, I want to put the curved side down. I'm just going to give that just a smidge of a clamp. And you'll see that it straightened that pin up a little bit. And now, interesting, it's still a little low. All right, we'll come back in and we'll do it again. I want to just bring it up to about what I would call flush. So you see how it's parallel with the rail and the body of the car. I'm going to do the same thing over here just to be consistent, because that's what I do as an engineer. Now we're going to test it one more time here. Ah, good. Ah, good. I like it. All right, now we can put our test track back here. We can put our washers back because we don't need those anymore. And now we're going to move on to finishing this car up. All right, let's see if we can bring this home. So the first thing we got to do now that we've got our underframe and our trucks and our couplers set, what we're going to do is we're going to put the doors on this sliding door boxcar. When you pick up one of these, you have these little tangs at the bottom that are going to run in the track here. I have found it's easier to bring these in from the back side here. And what I like to do is just kind of set it down like that, okay? Get this tang in and then get this tang in at the top into the track and just kind of move it forward just like that. Let's see if we can get it to, oops. And when you know it, just because I'm on camera, it's going to fight me. Hey, like that. Oh, there it goes. It went on. Just going to slide it. It's going to be a little stiff at first, partly because it's got paint on it. All right, so it's got a little thickness issue here. And I may need a little bit of a persuasion. There we go. You hear it pop. Now this thing should come right on. Now, it should, now that you got both of these in and you're in the top track, this should slide relatively easily and close in place. Now we're going to flip it over to the other side. We're going to do the other one. Coming in from the back side here, I'm up in the upper track here. I start the hinge at the bottom with the sliding pin at the bottom. This one's going a little easier. We'll take it. Oh, look how easy that one went in. It's pot luck with these. And so, there we go. Oop. There we go. Now, as you open and close this, and the best way to do this is to have one finger inside, one finger outside, pinch it, and you just want to kind of move it back and forth. And what it's doing is it's wearing the paint off the inside of that door and in the track to make sure that that thing will slide. And you can see how much easier that's becoming to do. Okay, we'll do that with the other side because this was the stiffer of the two. There we go. Now it's loosening up. I wouldn't recommend putting any lubricant on that because depending on what it is, it could be a solvent-based lubricant and you end up taking your paint off. So there we are. We got our body done. Now we need to get on to weighing this car and then putting weights in it to get us to NMRA standards. So let's do that next. All right, so to weigh these and get them to the proper NMRA standard, I use this Amazon Basics postal scale. You don't need anything fancy. I bought this one because it reads to the detail that I want in single-digit ounces, okay? And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put the car on. Actually, I'm going to turn this upside down so it doesn't roll away from me. So we got 2.1 ounces there. We have 3.3 ounces there. Now, according to NMRA, you're supposed to be 1 ounce plus one half, I think it's 1/2 of an ounce for every foot. So this car is 6. So what we need to be is we need to be up around 4 ounces. I am one of those people that I'm okay going over. So what I like to use are adhesive back steel wheel weights that are typically used for motorcycles wheels, because the adhesives on them are so strong, they're not going to go anywhere. So I know that I'm going to add a full ounce of weight to this. So I'm not going to use these 1/4 ounce ones. I'm going to use the 1/2 ounce ones. And you can see they come in strips like this. I need 2 of these. So I'm going to get out my X-Acto knife. I'm going to cut away 2 of them like this. There's 1, there's 2. Put these back in the box. It goes over to the side here. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to peel the backing off of one of these, like so. And I will tell you that what I like to do is I like to orient it, especially on these cars, right over top of the wheel truck, right? The weight over the wheels, that's your best bet. And you want to make sure that you're staying a little bit inboard. And you can see that based off of the distance, I'm roughly centered there. And then I just give that weight a little bit of a push there. And you can see that this is already starting to come up. And I'm going to go ahead and this car wants to get away from us here. It's like already wants to run away. So on this one, I'm going to do the same thing over here. I'm going to center it over top of that truck, put it down, and then while it's down on this hard surface, I'm just going to give it a good press like that, and then set it back up onto the scale. And you can see I'm at 4.3, which is perfect from my perspective. I'd rather be a little over than a little under there. Okay, let's go on to final assembly. All right, so for final assembly, it couldn't be any easier. So just what you want to do is you want to pick up the body of your car. You want to take the box itself, flip it over, and what I like to do is hold it in my left hand, slide, get the end started in between the stirrups here, like that. It's going to be tight, and I push it until it's tight against the end of the box. What I also, actually, let me back that up because I forgot to do something. We were playing with these doors. Usually I like to have these doors open, and I'll show you why in a second. So I open both doors. What I want to do is I want to get that thing started there, get it pushed up to the very end, and then I use my fingers to spread the box frame a little bit, because there are actually little tangs right here at the door level that's going to go into the box car body itself. I'm going to turn this around. I'm going to kind of work these down in. And it should, if I have done my job, should pop down into that. Let's see if we can get it to come down in. Let's see, is that? Nope, it's not quite there yet. Sometimes they get stubborn. All right, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to take this back out. We're going to take it in from this side. Sometimes if you have to put it in a certain direction first, and then it'll go in. So again, I'm going to use my fingers to spread that frame, that box body. Push this forward. There it goes. You heard it click in place. These should drop in, and there shouldn't be any bowing. You hear that? So you had a pop on this end, and in the middle. And there you go. We got our Boxcar ready to go. If you want, you can slide these shut, or you can leave them open. I tend to like to leave them open for initial runs. But there you go. So what we've done is we've assembled a blue box Athearn car. We have put on kadee couplers. We have tuned up the truck bolsters, installed metal wheel sets so you can see how freewheeling those wheels are. We've assembled the underframe, and we've got the sliding doors on, and they are working quite nicely here. We've only got a couple more. We've installed our brake wheel at the end, and I think this thing is essentially ready for the layout. All right, so now that I've done all this work to get this car ready, I'm going to go ahead and put my paint dots on here to signify what's been done. So I use these Craftsmart paint pens. These are oil-based paint pens, not water-based. I got these at Michael's. And so what you want to do is you kind of want to just shake these up. As I mentioned before, red signifies the kadees have been installed. I just use a scrap piece of paper. And then what I do is here on the underframe, I just put a little dot as best as I can, like that. And that's it. And then since I've now tuned the trucks up, I've got a yellow pen here. I'll go until it gets some paint flowing in it. I'll put that yellow dot right there like that. And then last but not least, shake my blue pen up. I forgot to shake the yellow one up. Make sure you do that. Make sure you push down on it to get the paint flowing. And then I'm going to put a blue dot right there. My dots are kind of lopsided there, but there you go. And then in addition to that, if and when I ever weather this car, then I will use a green paint pen, which I believe I have now. No, I do not. I'll use a green paint pen to signify that this car has been weathered. One of the final things I do once I have marked the car itself, I then use these Avery color coding labels. So I have the red, yellow, blue, and green, as I mentioned before. And then I put these little dots on the box itself. So this tells me if it's in storage that yes, the kadees have been replaced, yes, the trucks have been tuned up, and yes, this car has been weighted to NMRA standards. All right, there it is up on the layout over here in Sugar Alley. And it is running very nicely. Scary smooth. Back and forth. So there it is. It's ready for my layout. Well, there you have it. My first Halloween train car for the Halloween train that I'm building. And you'll get to see that in some future videos here. Real excited to have this one. I didn't realize I had this. This was a really quick, fun build for me. And really excited to get this one up and rolling around on the layout. I may add a few accoutrements as part of that Halloween train build. But I want to get the cars together first because I've got a few more. I think I get a total of 7 cars for that train, but you'll get to see that here coming up. Well, listen, thank you for joining. Thank you for watching. Thank you for the subscribers, especially the new ones coming on board. Hope you all are enjoying your trains. If you haven't had a chance and you like this video, hit the like button. If you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing. That does help me out. And if hope you guys are enjoying your trains, and we'll see you all on Down the Tracks. Bye. Hey there, did you like that video? Well, check out some of these others on the screen. Don't worry, I'll wait. Enjoy.